Welcome, welcome to the Net of Light online teaching. We meet like this once a month in order that we can support one another as we learn to live the grandmother's message. These are the times we were born for. And if you're here, it's no accident. The grandmothers say we call those to this work who we want. And so if you're here, it's because they've called you. These are the times of change that we've heard about for so long. They are upon us now. And we come together in order to support each other during these radical shifting times and support our beloved planet, including all life on this planet. We don't charge money for this work, and all are welcome to it. And if you have any questions or anything you want to learn, you can contact us through our websites, netoflight.org and grandmotherspeak.com. We'll get right back to you. We're going to be working today with three grandmothers from different parts of the world, with Sinead from Ireland, with Louise from Canada, and with Jenny from the Southwest in the United States, from Colorado. And we're going to be working in a practical way. How are we living this message now during these times? If you have one of the grandmother's books, or several of them, you might want to bring them to sit with you, because we will be referring to their teachings, because they wrote these books specifically for us to be able to join with them and do this work to rescue and bless our planet. So before we start, I'm going to ask Kate, one of our council members, if she would lead us in the Net of Light meditation. Each time we meet, the grandmothers ask that we work with the Net of Light for ourselves and for everything that lives. So Kate, if you would lead us, that would be lovely.
Thanks, Sharon. Everybody that can hear my voice, sit straight in your chair or wherever you are. Take a deep inward breath of the divine breath. Feel it move through your body and expand your body. And when you breathe out, blow out any thought or distraction that may be hovering nearby. Take another deep breath, inward and cleansing. And again, release anything that is causing you tension or discomfort. And we ask now that the grandmothers come in around us and stretch their arms out across our circle of hearts linked and hold us gently, yet very firmly and supportively as we enter into this sacred moment together. Now look down into your heart space. Feel it quiver and open as you observe it, and see the light pour out. The beautiful light that is your unique color is now pouring into the net of light, and you can now see and trace the net of light as it stretches across the world and up into the stars, down deep into the heart of the earth, and rapidly embraces all in this world. And within the pulsing light of the net of light, where your heart light now beats, you too can perceive the beating hearts of others, of all on this call. And from this oneness, we are now going to invite in the 5 elements: the blessed air that breathes us, the fire that ignites our passion and warms us, the water that cleanses our bodies and brings beauty and cleansing to the earth and the earth of our bodies, our very substance, our bones, through which we are connected with the Mother. And finally, we invite the ether, the most mysterious of elements that holds all in all time, all prayer, all song, all Akashic record. And we ask that the elements be balanced and held lovingly within the net of light. From here, we can now cast the net to all humanity on our planet, asking that each man, each woman, and child receive that which they most need or wish for their very highest good. And we also ask that they feel in their hearts that they are so loved and so cherished, and that all indeed is well, even through these difficult times. We especially cast the net of light to those who are struggling, famine, homelessness, wars, oppression, churning conflict, climate disasters. And we ask that all be held and loved. We now cast the net of light to the animal kingdom, to the beautiful animals of the land, the wild animals as they move across the plains, the birds of the sky, the creatures of the ocean deep, and the tiniest animals, the microscopic animals. To all living animals, we cast the net of light and ask that each animal receive that which they most need. We now cast the net of light to the plant kingdom, thanking it with deepest gratitude for all the many blessings we receive from the love and the holding and the sharing of wisdom and the bathing us in loving presence if we open our hearts. We ask each of the plant members to get that which they most need and ask special protection for the great old trees that are now at risk for fire. We cast the net of light to the earth, to the mineral kingdom, blessing, thanking, holding, honoring all the memories, all the bones deep within the earth. We cast to the nature kingdom, to the elementals, to the nature spirits, thanking them and asking them to make themselves more known to us in our service to one another and to the Great Mother. So finally, we cast the net of light to everything that lives. And together we sing, may everyone in all the worlds be happy. May everyone in all the worlds be happy. May everyone in all the worlds be happy. Oh, peace, peace, peace.
Thank you, Kate. Please notice how your body feels right now. Whatever you feel, without judging yourself for it, just notice. Let your body communicate with you that which needs to be communicated. It might be feeling more relaxed, more comfortable, and or you might be becoming aware of a place of pain or distress. It might feel smooth and calm, or there might be a nervous quality coming up. Let be whatever is. Your body is a great friend and teacher and can always be counted on to show us what needs attention now. And whatever needs attention within you now is most welcome. And we say yes to it, to giving it the attention it needs and deserves. The same with your mind and all your thoughts. Everything's welcome here. There's nothing we say no to. It's all yes. Welcome, yes. This is life. We're in it together. So today, I just wanted to have some of these women to speak with and share what they're experiencing right now. So who'd like to start first? Sinead or Jenny or Louise? Who'd like to begin?
I can start if you'd like, Sharon.
I'd love that, Sinead. Sinead, by the way, for those of you who don't know her, is an utter delight, and she takes care of all the grandmothers groups in Ireland and interfaces with all the different regional coordinators around the world. So she's one of the regional coordinators of Ireland. And we were last there in Ireland for a gathering in 2019, which was fabulous.
It was the heights of joy and excitement. It was incredible, wasn't it?
So I've been wanting you to come on one of these online teachings for a while. Yeah. And I wanted you to share, from your viewpoint, from where you are in your life now, in your progression into oneness with God. How are the grandmothers working in your life right now, Sinead? And what are you learning?
For me, really, it's so when you posed this question to us, I was sort of thinking and perusing and things, and the first thing that came up was very much the feeling of the grandmothers being such an intense force of love and buffering. So an embrace, a loving embrace that has helped me through this year. I've had a lot of I've had experiences of dealing with bureaucracy, patriarchy, etc. I was only setting up a website. You'd think that would be anyway. But it was trying to bring the energy of the divine feminine and things very much of a heart nature and a heart base into a framework, and trying to communicate things like this in a heart way, in a flow way. And so how the grandmothers really came in for me this year was they created like this buffer of love between me and the hard edges, the hard edges that felt difficult to get around or difficult to communicate, to move past, So, and I suppose just as well, just in the outer world, just everything that's been going on in the world, so much division and so much polarity. Like love being the tool and love being the way, the grandmothers helped me as a force within to really trust and rely on that force of love, that love, love is our power. So really working with that as a mechanic, as a real reliable go-to, very visceral place within,
Can you say what you just said? I've heard so many times, and it's so difficult for people to hold on to that. Our love is our power, because the world is constantly saying, hell no, force is power and control is power and all of this stuff. But the grandmothers never deviate. Our love is our power. And so could you share a little bit more about how they were showing this to you, or how this hit home with you?
How it came was a loving, soft sense of all is held, trust us, we are with you every step, and this isn't something that you need, that is with your mind. We are with you in heart, we are with you in breath, and this isn't something that you need to mentally navigate. We are here. This is something this particular piece I actually came with from this book, the latest one. So on page 111, there is a two-way flow of love taking place.
This is the return of the mother, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So there's a two-way flow of love taking place. So, and I can't remember which book it was, but it was the grandmothers, maybe it was the first one, and they said, we are as close as the air that you breathe. And that has stayed with me so strongly, has stayed with me so strongly. And that is how close I feel them. And that is the softness of their embrace and their love. So really, it's a visceral, soft, loving embrace that I have sensed consistently within my body in a tangible sense, and then also in the harder edges in the outer world,
Thank you, Sinead, for sharing that. Thank you so much. I could feel that just dropping into the center of me a bit more when you said that. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
So what I'd like to do is move on then and see where we are with everybody's contribution, and then come back in together and weave some of this together. So I don't care. Jenny, Louise, who wants to speak next?
Oh, I can go next, because it leads off of what Sinead was saying, which is just the grandmother's integration into our daily lives. And years ago, I remember, or somewhere in one of the newsletters, I think it's come out that the grandmothers are with you when you walk into a room, and having them basically be part of my thought, word, and action wherever I am, whoever I'm touching, tuning in, quietly listening, and intuition, and trying to live that every day. I was actually talking to Sinead one day, and she said, oh, you've got them sometimes, but not all the time. Try to incorporate it more all the time. And it's like, yes, that's the art, is to have the grandmothers with us, acting in our life or connecting with our life all the time, more integrated. And of course, there's ways, just taking time to be quiet and to listen. And I often use the stone circle meditation to specifically go to the grandmothers and ask for guidance, and then respond to that guidance. And we have in Canada, we've got a weekly Zoom meeting, and we get together as a group, and it's really lovely, and we're tuning. And the power of that hour and what we generate sort of floats us through the week, and then we're back again. That's very lovely. And yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I can feel that connection as you speak. And by the way, Louise is the regional coordinator for Canada, so she covers all of Canada and then interfaces with all the US beacons as well. Jenny, did you want to add anything to the conversation? Jenny is the regional coordinator for the Southwest, for all the states within the United States Southwest.
And I share that role with Anita Albright.
Right, with Anita Albright.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, on a personal note, so my father passed September 8th, and he was 92, and it was a peaceful passing. And so 2 nights later, in my dream, I saw a sheer piece of fabric, kind of like hanging off the edge and of something. And I just had this desire to see more clearly. And I wished I could look at it through a microscope. And but when I woke up, I thought, oh, that's the fabric of being that the grandmothers speak of. And I went outside and looked at the stars, and where we live, it's in the country. And so we get to see a lot of stars. And so then the next morning, I looked up more in the books about the fabric of being. And in that meditation, this is from book 1, A Call to Power, they say, we give this meditation to move you beyond the sense of limitation and smallness. The fabric of being will move you beyond mental divisions of me or mine, you or yours. These are tiny concepts, not even pinpoints. They are not what you are. You are great. You are the deep blue, ever-reaching blanket of the night sky. Meditating on the fabric of being will heal worry, nervousness, and release stress. It releases negative mental and emotional states because the fabric of being is the truth of who you are. And the assurance that I got from that dream in the timeliness of my father's passing was like, well, he's in another form. He's still with me. He's part of that, the weaving of the love, the web. So that was really sweet, because I work with textiles. So the concept of the fabric of being has kind of been playing in my mind, and I may make an art piece based on that. I'm trying to figure out how to have light underneath it and something, and anyway, it'll come. But I also wanted to share that the way they've worked, the grandmothers have worked with me, is back during COVID, I learned of Harriet McDonough's weekly meditation. I thought, well, okay, I could do that. And so I started, and so every week holding a meditation for what? First I did the power and wings, and then the tree of life. And it was a way for me to grow, continue to grow beyond the small self to the larger self, and to trust and to get comfortable being in that role, and to create sacred space. So I no longer really participate in a formal religion, but I kind of miss that sacred time. And so on Mondays, I light the candle and smudge and read from the book as if it were a divination deck. I open to whatever calls to me that day, and that it's what I need to hear that day. So it's a very viable, life-affirming practice. I'm so grateful.
Jenny, when you do this, then are other people with you, or when you do this? Explain that a little.
Okay, so yeah, there's a number that Harriet helped me set up through, forget the name of it, but anyway, everyone just calls to that number. It's not a Zoom, it's just a phone number. And then we're all on the call, and then I lead the meditation, and people are in their homes joining in. And sometimes there's 1, sometimes there's 8, but that's the numbers is not the point. It's the practice. Yeah.
So you do this which day?
Monday. I used to do it
Monday.
Friday, and then it was like, this is not really very, it wasn't working out so well for me. And that's another lesson. I always presume that things have to be hard. Well, it doesn't count unless you're working hard. Well, no. Monday mornings now, it starts the day, it's 10 o'clock, so it's not right in the middle of the day, and it is each week. So it's an opportunity for people to gather. And that's what some of the gals say. It's like a connection.
Yeah. I haven't been on one of your calls yet, but I will. And I have been on Harriet's, which are on Wednesday. And I have to say that whenever I do that, it really sets me up into a beautiful energy field. And I try to keep myself, and I got from all of you today that you all do this. I try to keep myself in that elevated place so that I can, be a walking blessing on the earth, as the grandmothers say. And yet the world is full of distractions that are constantly kind of pulling at you, And so to come in on one of those calls is just like getting a great present. So Jenny, thank you for what a beautiful service you're doing. And if anybody out there wants to tune in to these calls, if you just write to us, we'll give you the link to Jenny on Mondays or to Harriet on Wednesdays,
And
or
Sharon,
to any of the other Zoom calls, or to Louise's. Would you mind, Louise, if some other non-Canadians got on with you Canadians?
We'll sure, absolutely. We need to have some larger gatherings, I think. I've been thinking of that, to have a larger gathering, and yes, have be able to accommodate as many as want to come globally. That would be
great. I know that's what's been happening since COVID. As before that, we would have our personal gatherings in our particular areas of the world, and some of us are still doing that. I've just started doing that again in Northern California. But now there are all these Zoom calls all over the world, and people from everywhere plugging in with each other, which is great. And we all work with the Net of Light. We all work to lift and bless one another, and all life everywhere. So if you're anybody who's watching this is interested, just email us and we'll put you in touch with any of that.
Also, Sharon, I just want to mention that on Facebook, we post every week both of those meditations, Harriet's meditation on Wednesday, as well as Jenny's, which is now on Monday, right?
Good.
Yeah.
And so probably we ought to let other people who are doing these Zoom calls know about that, so we could probably post all of that stuff. Anyway, all of this is exciting, and it's churning and coming up. This is a challenging time we're in, and thank you all for stepping into the challenge. Before I go on and blab some more, do you have anything else you want to share about how the grandmothers are? I used to have this great teacher. He'd say, "What's learning ya? What's working ya?" with that great accent. But what he was meaning is, what is the universe teaching you now? What's showing up in your life that's moving you forward? So if you have anything else you want to share about that.
Well, following from what I had said before was the idea of something that I call following the light trail, which is if something is sparkly or lit up, then to trust it and follow it, even if it doesn't make any sense. I think I mentioned about the grandmother house that has been unfolding in our life. A family moved to Nicaragua, and their house was available. And it's a longer story, but I've taken it over. And the fellow said to me, "Well, does this make any sense?" And I said, in my head, no, not really. But in my heart, absolutely. It's the most sparkly thing that's living up right now. So we're going to do it. And of course, it ended up being grace in many different directions, and it's still unfolding. And I think there's a purpose with that project that will benefit many, is the hope. And so that kind of idea of following the light trail.
I'll jump in on that too. So my intuition sometimes tells me to go to the thrift store. There's a treasure waiting for me. So I went a few weeks ago and I found this lovely piece of gold, and you can kind of see through it. And I thought, like at Joshua Tree, you know, they have the ancestral cape with all the feathers, but at our ghost ranch, people can take turns, you know, wearing the net of light.
Great. For those of you who don't know, we have a grandmother's gathering usually at Joshua Tree National Monument. And we will have that, God willing, and COVID doesn't ravage more, in March this year. So Jenny's talking about some of the ceremonial stuff we do at that gathering. And there will be a gathering this October at Ghost Ranch in New Mexico. And you're going to take that. I think that should be great. Please take some pictures of how you use that in ceremony. That would be great. Yeah, that's a fun thing.
Yeah.
There's no place that the grandmothers are not. So if you're in the thrift store, keep an eye out. If you're at the ice cream store, keep an eye out. There's no place that is not, the grandmothers say there is no part of the world that is not sacred. We are always with you. So expect wonderful surprises all the time. Anybody, Sinead, was there anything else you wanted to say?
Yeah, there was just one more thing that just came into my mind there, you know, just what Louise was talking about, stepping on, following the trail of light, you know, something that I find really, really beneficial. If you're having a problem finding the light trail, or if you're really just needing to sort of switch into the heart and just switch into the grandmother's rhythm, I find playing the songs just so beneficial. Just go right on to the songs and just play them one after the other and just stay there until you're on track, you know? And it just works a treat. If you just need to switch things, it works, you know? 3 songs in, you're just delighted. You know?
Yes. That's why we recorded all the songs, and you'll find them on the media page on either netoflight.org or grandmotherspeak.com. And you can download them, you can do whatever you want with them, and they will lift you.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to share a little bit how this applies to me. I'm learning after all these years, I'm relearning and relearning and relearning, you know how it is, how all pervasive the grandmothers are, how all pervasive the divine is. It doesn't matter if you think of the divine as the grandmothers, or you think of them as Jesus, or you think of them as Allah, or you think of them as Sai Baba. It doesn't matter. God is infinite and shows up in all his forms at any time for our sake. And so if you need a personal connection with God and you just can't relate to some of the old ways, ask for that. It will come to you. God is not limited. The divine is never limited. We humans put limits on it. We lay rules and regulations on all this stuff. You must do this. You must say this direction. You must turn this way. You must sit down. You must stand up. You can. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But you deserve, it is your birthright to have your own relationship with God and to have that be true and right for you. That's the way it is. So from time to time, the divine shows himself in yet another form, because we've squeezed all the juice out of the previous form, and there's only a bunch of rules and regulations left. And when that happens, trust that. And the grandmothers have come at this time because they chose this particular form, because the world needs mothering now. There's been so much of patriarchy, so much of putting things in the box and rules and regulations and laws, and you shall not, shame on you, you miserable sinner, all that stuff. And so the world needs mothering now. So the grandmothers showed up. Why not? And who knows how the divine will show up yet again. But if you want to have that relationship with the divine and you haven't found it, start asking for it like you mean business. And if you want to, you can call on the grandmothers. They don't care if you call on them, and they will help send you to the guidance that you need. So you can ask for help, and help is there for you. Many of us had been starving for this personal, deep down, visceral connection with the divine, and the divine responded. So I asked everybody to look at the books. There's 4 of the grandmother's books out now, and to see if there was a quote that meant something to you. And so I was walking up the stairs here to do this meeting, and I thought, oh, the book, and I came to me, page 31. And so I grabbed this Return of the Mother, which is the latest book, page 31, and they just had a small thing to say here, but boy, was it right. They said, changing and changes, a deep voice intoned. All is changing, and nothing will be the same. Nothing, it declared. And after a pause, you need to prepare. So we are in preparation for all this changing that is beginning now. All the old ways on earth are cracking off. You see it happening every single day. And we don't know where we're going, but the grandmothers encourage us to choose love at every turn, not to choose fear. Yes, everything is shaken up and will be more shaken up. And the only way we can prepare is to prepare our hearts in love, to choose love and say yes to love at every opportunity. That will bring us happiness. That will bring us inner peace. And it will never fail. So right now, as we finish our meeting together, we're going to go in and we're going to ask them for this guidance that we need now. So together we call on the net of light, just as Kate led us through before. Every time you think of the radiant net of light, it's present. And so together we ask for our connection with the net of light, and here it is. You cannot go beyond the reach of the divine. There is nowhere where the divine is not. And the net of light is a beautiful way to experience that. So let yourself sit down now on the net of light and be held in light, where those cross currents of light meet, somewhere where that forms an X or a T, is a place that'll feel good to you, comfortable and like home. It's a home place. And just sit there and let the net of light hold you and enfold you. It kind of rocks you and cradles you in light and harmonizes your own heart with the one heart, the one love that holds the universe. And you are cherished and held in light. And at the same time, you are cherishing and holding all in light. The net of light is breathing through you, and your love is running through its fibers, and its love is running through your fibers. And you are at one with the one love, held and loved, held in love, now and forevermore. Let yourself just be held, rocked and held through this time we're living in together, through this time when we're asked to be beacons of light, to be steady points of radiance. And the grandmothers help us do that. And I'm going to sing a little song, and you can let it kind of carry you as we rock together in light. The river, she is flowing, flowing and growing. The river, she is flowing down to the sea. Grandmothers, carry me, your child I will always be. Grandmothers, carry me down to the sea. The river, she is flowing, flowing and growing. The river, she is flowing down to the sea. Grandmothers, carry me, your child I will always be. Grandmothers, carry me down to the sea, down to the sea. Let yourself be held. Let yourself be cared for. Let yourself be loved. You are so loved. You can contact us through netoflight.org or grandmotherspeak.com. And we'll be back together again on the first weekend in November. Bless you, you walking blessings upon the earth. Thank you.